to support the channel.
After finishing the dangerous mission when confronting the Schiffer, Dominic and Letty Weapons decided to wash his hands and move to a small countryside to live. He named his son and Elena Brian, with the implication of the lost friend. Letty saw that the father and son were repairing the car when they looked cuddly. Although Brian was not her biological son, Letty loved the boy like blood. The atmosphere between them was very happy. A strange car approached. Dominic immediately signaled Letty into the warehouse to get the goods to prepare for the battle, and the Brian boy was very smart to flee into a H. When he was planning to puncture a few holes, the car in the car surrendered. Walking off the car none other than the former teammate Roman. He made both husband and wife laugh out of their humor. The three of them include Roman, Taji and Ramsey approaching the family's health. It rarely saw them coming here, so Dominic had a bad thing. It turned out that not long ago, the Nobody Secret Service sent his help to the Racing Boy group and expected them to support him. Not in the process of escorting the Schiffer beam. Nobody's aircraft was attacked by a betrayal agent. On the plane there was a top-secret package. After finishing, the Nobody signal was interrupted, and it can be seen that this situation is even more dangerous than the previous confrontation with Schiffer. Letty suspected that this was a simple video, but Ramsey told her that Schiffer had escaped in that attack, and Nobody's aircraft was now crashed in Monte Quinto. TG adds that Nobody is in danger because the area has now been blocked by isolated people operated by the army. Despite the group of 3 people explaining that this was an urgent situation for Dominic to refuse immediately, Roman convinced him to participate in catching Schiffer because her son killed Elena, also his son's mother. But Dominic did not listen. The whole group had all the way to give the machine to Letty so that she would inform them in case the Dominic changed her mind. In the evening, when her husband was sleeping, Letty went to the bed and handed back the necklace to the boy. Seeing Letty meant to leave to participate in this task, Dominic also followed to prevent. He said that both of them learned Mia and Brienne to escape this hard life because their son needed his parents to be around, disappointing with his husband Letty on the car to leave. After a while Dominic could not stand it but reviewed the video of the Nobody Secret Service, through which he discovered a price icon in the video. Dominic hurriedly searched for a photo, so the price bar was a church. Immediately, he called Mia to ask her to take care of his son. The 2 brothers had been meeting for a long time, so they shook their faces to know that they were fine. Both brothers remember their deceased father. Decades ago, he was also a notorious racer on the track. That day, their father was as always participating in the world's largest racing at the time. When he was young, Dominic followed him to the track. When he arrived, he told him that it was necessary to be careful because other rivals were clamping his car. After that, the race also began. Dominic's father is gradually leaving the opponents and rising to the top, but Dominic worries when another car is trying to smoke into his car. Unfortunately, his father's car was thrown to the edge and burned violently. He was miserable and ran to where people's obstacles. Those were Dominic's painful recalls. Mia advised him not to be sad. Back in reality, after finishing the children, he drove after the group before the plane took off. After going to Monte Junto, the group divided into many cars to move due to the terrain of the rock. Ramsey informed the team that they were only 10 minutes before the Rangers went to the patrol. After a while searching, they reached the Nobody Secret Service. Dominic carefully led everyone to find his signal, but they only found a signaling device. Ramsey used business to hatch it and successfully opened the door. Inside is a metal box containing a strange, sudden object. The 3 men in the team divided to protect women, so the Rangers discovered they should send armored vehicles to destroy. The Roman young man could not run, so he was surrounded by the armed forces inside. At this time he used all his strength to shoot continuously about the forest rangers and lower them all. This side Dominic drove closely to protect Letty from the bullets of the guards. Taji and Ramsey also suffered the same attack. Fortunately, Roman drove a small tank, crushed a car from the enemy to save them a life. More and more enemies made the whole group. No longer the racing boys escape line runs into the military's mine yard. The TG calculates the blasting speed. At least they have to drive with 80 kilometers over time to escape the explosion. Roman panicked because his car only reached a maximum of 70 kilometers over time. But fortunately their recklessness also successfully cut the tail of the regional forest rangers. But the new danger begins. The mines and mines are constantly causing the whole group to face death faster than ever. They did not know that there was a stranger observing the situation from above. Indeed, Roman Black again chased again when kicking the largest mines, causing the car to be knocked down and then stirred into the stone. The group was worried but did not dare to move. More scary, if Roman's car fell, it would activate the next mines. If so, he would soon have a ticket to reincarnate. Roman would not sit still. He succeeded out of the car and ran far away before the place exploded. The car just now fell straight into the place he was standing, but in the risk of luck. Roman still lived to the teeth before Ramsey and Taji's wickedness when he was about to run away from dangerous places. The forest rangers came and blocked the path. A numb jump in the car and controlled her from later. Letty excited into the trunk. Before she was able to see a car tossing the Letty, fortunately she hit Dominic's head, but in return for the device they had just got to have been observed by their names. When he saw his face, Dominic's face was changed because the one who came to no one else was Jacob, his younger brother. He quickly chased his brother to play to get back the device. His three friends also quickly kept up and crushed the ranger's car. Unfortunately, the owl and touching the suspension bridge was broken between Chung. TG drove extremely panicked but still drove the car to climb safely. This side, Dominic and Jacob were attacked by a combat helicopter, but the two brothers still not stop each other. Blood. Jacob let out a throttle, flying up and down. More virtual is a B-18 plane rushing over and swallowing Jacob away, leaving Dominic and Letty to suffer the potential of the helicopter. Not the ceiling, except Dominic rushing out of the flying speed. Fortunately, the cord in his car formed a traction to help two people successfully land on the other side of the border. Then the CIA's people quickly came to save them, but he said they had diplomatic troubles arrived. What would be like when the U.S. reconnaissance plane fell in a hostile country and a whole gun match? The U.S. always likes the face, so the Racing Boy group doing so has caused a mess. On this side, Ramsey detected a GPS coordinates from the device that Jacob was taken away. She asserted that it was definitely installed in a purposeful way, a big conspiracy. All three of them were surprised when the person who stole the device was Dominic's younger brother. The question from his teammates made his memory return. The day their father had an accident, he was very miserable. Jacob was also present and was extremely scared to witness the fire burning his father. When the two brothers were receiving his remaining relics, Jacob discovered that the opponent had just knocked his father in the car. Jacob was about to come to him for a match when Dominic rushed to stop, but in front of the parade of the Dominic man who had a physical effect on him because of this, he was imprisoned for a while. But he also discovered that his father's death was related to Jacob because his younger brother was in charge of changing the engine for the car, and on the day of the race occurred. Back to reality, Jacob has now grown and became an assassin agent. He worked for a billionaire named Otto. He was an ambitious name to own the device that could control all global weapons named Ares. Now Jacob has brought half of Ares's half, made Otto extremely happy. Both of them approached Schiffer's place. At this time she was locked in a glass cage but still very charismatic. Schiffer spoke to the pain when he was in harmony with her brother. Jacob looked at her hostile. He finally had to lower his voice because he needed to combine with Schiffer to find the other half of Ares. With the ability to be superborn, Schiffer easily detects the location of the ARIR device. She did not forget to deepen the hatred between the two brothers, so that Jacob was even more angry at her brother. On this side, Dominic's group came to an abandoned equipment room due to a nobody case built on the Caspian coast. The device has reviewed a lot, so Taji and Ramsey are in charge of upgrading. Ramsey now shows his understanding of his machines, making Taji extremely embarrassing. The group rarely had time to rest after a series of dangerous events. Dominic and Letty were preparing guns. In some way, Mia has come to this secret to meet them, so Letty told her brother-in-law that they were on a difficult task. Mia said that Jacob was also her biological brother and Dominic too. Mia hoped that this time she would be involved in this task. As for keeping her children, leaving her husband Brienne Law, suddenly screaming Roman Crane made everyone pay attention. It turned out that this abandoned agency was hidden tens of millions of dollars in cash. Roman said that it was finally a little compensated for damn dangerous tasks. Later, the group gathered Ramsey to present the Ares equipment. They need to know what it is to have a clear plan. But surely this is important, so nobody does not care to protect it. Ares is designed to override and synchronize anything running on programming. Taji explained that it is easy to understand that the evil flood can be hatched into the refrigerator at someone's house and causing it to explode, thereby successfully burning the refrigerator's house. Recognizing the formidable level of Ares, people did not start shock. Ramsey warns that if Ares is uploaded to satellites, it spreads as a virus and controls any nuclear weapon system, which is controlled by it. Terrorists will take advantage of the Ares device to redraw the world map with a button. Initially the CIA was the unit that restored Ares, but because the Nobody attack tried to divide it into two halves to avoid falling into the hands of bad intentions. Instead to activate, Ares needs a starting key. Currently, the key is turning on the sound. At this time Dominic speaks English that the prerequisite to do now is to find the key. Jacob is collecting the other half of Ares. They will have to be divided into two teams to do the mission. First, Roman and Taji were assigned to Germany to buy hot weapons. Before DTG had a clue of a person who was closely related to the activation key, this person was none other than Han. His friend Onichan Japan was also the former teammate of the Jason group, who had been killed by him bald in part 7. It turned out that Han's fake death was arranged by Nobody, but the truth behind made the whole group unable to understand the true purpose of Nobody. Mia and Letty taking on the task of learning about Han. Before going to Dominic, he gave Letty a photo he found at the scene of Han's accident. He believed that this picture was not a coincidence. After that, he will plan to confront this younger brother. Information about Jacob was asked by him from a friend, so when he was in prison, Dominic was familiar with many brothers and sisters in the profession. 2 young men named Leo and Santos were arrested here on charges of intentionally causing injuries for stabbing a white man discriminating against the black people. After he came out to meet Jacob and questioned him about the incident of Father Hoo, the 2 brothers began to provoke each other to resolve resentment, the condition that if Jacob lost, he would have to disappear and never return home. Jacob also tried to fight, but Dominic said that the day their father died, he constantly talked about the ignition system error, but his brother was in charge to help him fix it. All the incidents were caused by Jacob. The overlooking the car could not make it burning so violently. Eventually the 2 of them entered the race. Dominic is always more appreciated than Jacob in everything, so he always wants to overcome his brother and prove his talent. Therefore, he was always in a hurry and burned the air to soar. But the speed did not hold for long. Of course, this time Jacob lost pain before his brother. He also kept the right knife and drove away from the town, returning to reality. Dominic went to a car repair garage to find Woody. He was his father's good friend, but Woody shook his head because Jacob has not come here for many years. He blamed Dominic that he was so cruel with his younger brother. Everyone loves Dominic, but with Jacob they treat it unfairly. Despite his uncle's blame, Dominic said his younger brother was entangled in a deadly incident that made him stop him. A long time later, Woody gave in and revealed that he was in London. Before he left, he said that he still expected Dominic and Jacob to neutralize misunderstandings. They should remember both and a younger sister in this world. On the other side of the hemisphere, Mia and Letty went to Tokyo to find clues about Han. They sneaked into his old store, but this place was only a rubble. The 2 could not find any suspicious clues, but Mia discovered the relationship between Giselle and Nobody Agent because she was a spy. But she was Han's girlfriend, so he was likely to be able to connect with Nobody and hold a secret of the Eris device activation lock. When he could not find any more clues, Letty invited Mia to kick a few ramen bowls because he rarely had the opportunity to go on business in Japan. Mia confided that he had hidden Dominic and kept in touch with Jacob for many years. But suddenly one day Jacob cut off completely contact and disappeared. Even at that time, Mia was only 16 years old and dared to break into the police station to search for Jacob. While talking, Letty saw what Han once mentioned. It turned out that he once said that someday he would go to Mexico to hide. Coincidentally, in the middle of the heart, Japan also has a house called Little Mexico. That's why they doubted that Han was probably hiding here. Right now at the engine testing location in the Cologne region, the 3 people argued for disagreements in the viewpoint of the car. When they were arguing, Roman and Teiji came to buy some goods for the upcoming momentum. This young man showing off the stick that he had just been. The car combined with the jet engine so that the power of the goods he has for the car racing with the plane to try to see which speed is higher. The Flood is very excited when his car catches up with the speed of the aircraft when sliding out of the runway. It looks itchy, but these 3 men are the most engineers in Germany. Teiji said that Dominic sent them here for help. Dominic's free time also flew to London and found his mother Ball to help. Between them was reconciled. She was very enthusiastic with Dominic because he at least protected her 2 sons to wipe her fish. Remember the old day Queenie invited Dominic to steal the car. As soon as they drove away, the police whistled chasing behind. On the Dominic car, thanks to Queenie to use relationships to find Jacob's whereabouts. Even Queenie heard this incident. She said there was a group of Americans who bought a large amount of weapons in the UK. Dominic said she was the weapon seller for Jacob. The woman also did not deny that they paid very hard. Who can criticize that money? You talked about their cars about to crash into a car on the road. Fortunately, Dominic pulled the brakes for the woman to beat the steering wheel to another direction. They escaped in gloves and created a beautiful rotating rift in the heart of London after cutting the tail. They drove to a large mansion that was organizing a party for the tycoon. The woman said that Jacob was here. Before he left, she also wishes Dominic lucky because no Americans are as precious as Dominic. It is true that London people are spicy. Today's party is White Party, a beautiful sister who came to pick him up from the yard. None other than the People's Congress of Cardi B. At this time the billionaire also faced him. The friendly Otto introduces that he is a partner of his younger brother Jacob, but he is not free to stand by the Dominic bullshit inside to meet his younger brother. Jacob was waiting for his brother, but Dominic said that his younger brother had died a long time ago. from the day their father left because Jacob, both quickly pointed guns at each other to push hostility. At this time, Otto also put soldiers in and surrounded Dominic and threatened him to rebel. If the UK dares to move, it is considered to be harmful to the United Kingdom and Dominic will be an international crime. Dominic was then escorted by the Interpol strain on the armored vehicle, waiting for him to leave the car to order Jacob to Edinburgh to find Eris's second piece. Jacob said that the key to activation he had for his pursuit. Cars are very satisfied with Jacob's work progress. In the Dominic car being handcuffed, the special soldier suddenly removed the face. No one else is DB Fish. This time she carries the identity of the bar. It turned out that Dominic and Lisa had known before because in the past Lisa was poor, but thanks to his relationship, she was followed by Queenie and lived in rich. This helped as Lisa repaid Dominic. Lisa gave him a gun encoded with Jacob's solid genetic code, which helped him follow his footsteps anywhere. The whole group was free. Mia and Letty also came to Han's inn. Suddenly a girl rushed to, followed by the assassin who came to find them. All three of them were very strong and did not weaken so that this big man's father when a guy picked up a gun to shoot at the Japanese girl. Letty rushed to let him eat a strong pillow on his knee that made himself fall out. Very quickly the other two ran to be shot down on the spot. On this side at a church in Edinburgh, Otto installed a device inside the church and ordered his juniors to start acting. Immediately Dominic sent Jacob's solid moss in to let Ramsey analyze. She said that Jacob was also right here. He was at a very close distance of only about 80 to 100 meters. At this time, Taji and Roman also flew from Germany to England to join the Dominic group, but the streets were too crowded that Taji could not recognize him. Suddenly, Ramsey's computer was overbeared and her Holy Eye device was disabled. Not only that, the whole camera in the city also encountered the same situation. Taking advantage of that chaotic situation, Jacob sneaked into the basement and stole the rest of Eris. On the road of Jacob's accomplices was also discovered by Roman and Taji. After punching the two suspicious men, Taji told Ramsey, so they turned the truck to delivery into a large magnet, so it has interfered with the surrounding security system. Black for Taji and Roman when he opened the door was controlled by two other guns, and Jacob was swinging the string from above to escape. Dominic saw that, then hurriedly chased. Ramsey was in charge of clinging to the car when he had just come out of the church. Ramsey found the magnet car just now. Ms. Leo drove without knowing that her two teammates were being controlled by the assassin inside the trunk. Instead of helping Taji and Roman to sneak and defeat them in the car, because Ramsey has never drove, he crashed into other cars. She accidentally pressed the button that made the super magnet sucking the entire phone of the pedestrians. But thanks to his clumsy, Ramsey accidentally helped Roman and Taji turn the situation to knock the assassins out. On the Dominic side, he ran to a high building and ran to the roof. Jacob was about to shoot iron hooks and continued to flee. When he came from stopped, they landed in a room. He punched his younger brother without any failure, but in general Jacob still looked better than his body, so he excavated Dominic like a fake. Then the two jumped out to get a two-story bus. He's right L. Where or Otto is being chased by Ramsey. As soon as Dominic is about to catch himself, Jacob jumping to another car to find Otto. Dominic also did not weaken. The two continued to chase each other. He hugged Jacob into Ramsey's trunk, but he jumped down the road to rob another car to flee. Ramsey shifted his target to clinging to him instead of Otto. She used the magnet to suck Jacob's car and received a praise from his teammate. The name Otto was lucky to escape. He went back to the arsenal and asked his assassin army to gather all efforts to destroy the Racing Boy Racing Group. Especially he wanted to catch Dominic to wash hatred. In the glass cage, Schiffer smiled mocking this guy because he thought he had money but was too stupid. This grandmother was not afraid to manipulate Otto's psychology, and said that he was just a lie being controlled by others. On this side, Jacob was arrested and imprisoned by the Dominic group in a secret tunnel. The other three laughed and shocked when Letty led Han to reunite with them. Dominic is no exception to seeing blood of blood for many years. Jacob in the cell is extremely jealous because his brother treated outsiders better than himself, experiencing many favorable things in the new Dominic time to release. He called to ask his son, and everyone was surrounding Han and asking about his miraculous survival after his bald attack. It turned out that after the death of his ex-girlfriend, a nobody case contacted him. At that meeting, nobody made a proposal for Han. First, Han must steal some technologies from a scientist couple, but nobody never revealed what it was. After that, the couple's daughter recounted that when she was young, she witnessed the scene of her parents dying in a car explosion, and she was sure that someone had harmed her family. It was Han accidentally saving her that day when the strangers sneaked into the house. It seems that they also target her, not just each Eris device. After listening to the story, Dominic believed that the girl was the key to activating this device. The girl also confessed that her parents locked Eris with their DNA. The only person who carries the gene code is still living in the world. Han also added nobody to predict that he was bald to eliminate himself, so he took this occasion to help him fake death and protect her safely. When people were engrossed in analyzing details, the warning bell rang. Ramsey discovered that there was an invasion. Soon the assassins sent by cars were surrounded by this place. Jacob was also released by them and joined the guild as a billionaire. Jacob said that he had worked with nobody for many years at this base. The reason he always chose him to do the task was not a coincidence, and the nobody betrayal agent was Jacob. Now, he has just had the other half of Eris and found the key to activate the device. It is true that the most bipolar, and this time he was proud that he won Dominic. Seeing that, he said that if his father was still alive, he was very disappointed in Jacob. He did not deserve his father's Toretto family. In the end, Jacob could not stand it anymore but revealed the truth that year. It turned out that their father had debt piled up, so he needed to win the race to Jerk. He asked Jacob not to let his brother know, and asked him to open the engine wire to help reach higher speed. But that means danger if you cannot control the speed well, and eventually cause his death. But Dominic said that if he was a boy who loved his father, no one did it. Two people have their own reason. Dominic finally understood Jacob's awkwardness when not revealed the fact, and was boycotted by his brother for several decades. After saying he sent his juniors to lead her. At this time, Teiji quickly screwed the super magnet boot button that made the entire assassin's gun. They quickly ran out of there. When the assassin chased Dominic to sacrifice himself to stay to intercept them, but because the enemy was too crowded, Dominic was alone. After a while struggling, he was arrested by them. Finally, when he fought back, he fell into the water and gradually sank. While he was in a coma, he saw himself with Jacob when he was young. The two were being taught by his father to repair the car. According to the memory, he saw him in the car on the track. Dominic also witnessed that Jacob's inner tearing when he had to follow his father even though he knew he would be in danger, or the face of despair when losing in the race and knowing that he will be permanently eliminated from the genealogy. Dominic finally understood all. He regretted treating his brother too harshly. When he woke up, Letty was still with him. This side was discussing the plan to stop Jacob from launching Eris on the satellite, and in order to be hatched to be satellite, they must fly away from a close distance to penetrate it and disable the device. Roman was too shocked by the danger of this task, so it was still the same as the previous times. He tried to retreat again, but did not expect to be the one who would fly out with Teiji to do his duty in the remote Tbilisi country. The car group used a living key to activate the device, and then launched the rocket into the sky. They sat in a car made by two German young people. On Dominic's side, he and the remaining members attacked an overcooled underground equipment. Thanks to the Ramsey heat range, Ella is locked in an armored vehicle and Eris is also in the car. They need to enter there to effectively Eris. The Jacob also successfully launched the missile to the force of Teiji and Roman on the floor and successfully flying out of the space. Below the billionaire, suddenly when he was followed by the racing boy group because he thought they were all the beautiful